There was a time when the Matrix series was one of the biggest movie franchises around and one of the pinnacles of blockbusters from that era of movies. The first film is by and large one of the best movies ever made in the eyes of many due to its plot, visuals, twists on how reality is, and so on. But the two sequel movies didn't really live up to the hype in terms of what they could go and do. So that's why many are hoping that the fourth film will be able to bring this franchise back for one last truly special film. Given that, allow us to show you The Matrix 4 Resurrections, top 7 things you need to know.
You seem particularly triggered right now. Can you tell me what happened?
Number 7. The title for the film. As we already noted, the film is called The Matrix Resurrections. It's ominous, intriguing, and we really do love to see it. It honestly fits the mold as the previous two films were Reloaded and Revolutions. What's more, the fact that the word resurrect is in the name seems to imply a deep connection to the previous three films, which could explain certain things in terms of casting.
To be going back to where it all started. Back to the Matrix.
Number 6. The cast. As praised by many, some of the key stars from the original trilogy are coming back for the fourth film, with Keanu Reeves returning as Neo and Carrie-Anne Moss coming back to play Trinity. Given the characters' fates in the Matrix Revolutions, we're not quite sure how this is going to work yet. According to Deadline, Jada Pinkett Smith is most likely coming back as Niobe from The Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions. Another veteran from the sequels making a return is Lambert Wilson, who portrayed the Merovingian. Joining the original actors is Aquaman's own Black Manta, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. Many speculate that he could be playing a younger version of Morpheus in the film, and a certain trailer seems to confirm that. But lips are sealed at this one at present. A ton of new faces will be coming on board as well. Brian J. Smith, who played Will Gorski on the Netflix series Sense8, has joined the cast, along with his castmates from that series, Max Rymelt and Toby Onwumer. Also joining up are Neil Patrick Harris, Iron Fist Jessica Henwick, Mindhunter's Jonathan Groff, and Priyanka Chopra Jonas. In June 2020, Variety reported that Christina Ricci had joined the cast as well. In addition to Fishburne, another major original cast member is not coming back, Hugo Weaving, who famously portrayed the dastardly Agent Smith. Weaving told Time Out that scheduling conflicts made his inclusion in The Matrix 4 impossible given his commitment to another project, The Visit. So we're not getting everyone, but we are getting enough people to make this special in its own way. And the cast themselves are very excited for it all.
Am I crazy? We don't use that word in here.
Number 5. Cast reactions. Needless to say, many of the cast were thrilled to go and be in the movie, even if they themselves didn't see it coming at first. I never thought that it would happen, Moss told Empire magazine about returning for a fourth Matrix movie. It was never on my radar at all. When it was brought to me in the way that it was brought to me, with incredible depth and all the integrity and artistry that you could imagine, I was like, this is a gift. It was just very exciting. Lana Wachowski wrote a beautiful script and a wonderful story that resonated with me, Reeves added. That's the only reason to do it. To work with her again is just amazing. It's been really special, and the story has, I think, some meaningful things to say and that we can take some nourishments from. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II told The Hollywood Reporter he was starstruck on set when Keanu Reeves arrived to film their first scene together. I remember Keanu in his first line, the actor said, "I looked up and there was Keanu and I said, oh shit, I'm really in the Matrix." It was just Keanu in that voice, and the technology that Lana incorporated in the filmmaking camera rigs that I've never seen before. It's so ambitious. It was really interesting to be making The Matrix 4 at a time when the world was so warped and when reality was so distorted. It could creep in a little bit if you let it. And they're not the only people who are excited about this film.
Hi.
Have we met?
Number 4. The creative team. The original trilogy's co-director, Lana Wachowski, is returning to helm the fourth chapter. In a statement, Warner Bros. Toby Emmerich said, "We could not be more excited to be re-entering The Matrix with Lana. Lana is a true visionary, a singular and original creative filmmaker, and we are thrilled that she is writing, directing, and producing this new chapter in the Matrix universe." Lana Wachowski added, "Many of the ideas Lily and I explored 20 years ago about our reality are even more relevant now. I'm very happy to have these characters back in my life and grateful for another chance to work with my brilliant friends." Wachowski will co-write the film with Alexander Heeman and David Mitchell. Unlike the previous 3 movies, this time Lana will be making a Matrix film without her creative partner and sibling, Lily.
Does that include what things to tell me and what not to tell me?
Of course not.
Number 3, the story we know. There has been a trailer for The Matrix Resurrections, but what it all really means is a bit up in the air still. It will be interesting to see if this new chapter coming can bring back the awe and wonder that we all felt 2 decades ago. when we saw Keanu do the whole bullet time thing for the very first time. Given where we left characters, it'll be fascinating to see just how Neo and company managed to come back. And again, as the new title Resurrections implies, there are going to be some key returns that might just shake things up again and make this a film worth paying attention to.
He did it.
He saved us. He saved us.
Number 2, How Revolutions Ended. The third film in the Matrix franchise was supposed to be the end, and it was emphatically portrayed that way in many elements. In short, humanity was on its last legs as the machines had found Zion and were going to do whatever it took to wipe out humanity once and for all. Neo had to go and venture into the machine capital in order to figure out how to save everyone and stop the evil Agent Smith once and for all. This led to many big things happening, including major final battles, key characters dying, and more. Key among those deaths was Trinity, who died in a crash after helping Neo evade some machine drones. She died happy because she had gotten to see the real sun for the first time. As for Neo, he entered the Matrix one last time via the machines. He enlisted their help and promised to destroy the Smith program once and for all in exchange for peace with the humans. The machines agreed and Neo entered the code to fight Smith. After a prolonged battle, Smith absorbed Neo, and when he did, the machines were able to overload Neo in order to kill the Smith program for good. Neo's body was carried away by the machines afterward. Zion was spared, and Morpheus celebrated alongside the remaining humans. As we stated, this was played up to be an ending, and yet here we are with Resurrections.
You don't know me. No?
Number 1, continuation or retelling? That is the question that literally everyone is asking right now, because given how the third movie ended, everything was wrapped up. Sure, there are some ambiguous moments, including the question of whether Neo was honestly dead, but overall, it was a wrapped up story. So how can this all work? The trailer does give us some clues, mainly in that Neo is somehow back in the Matrix, but he doesn't know who he is, as he's once again going by his human name of Thomas Anderson. He does have his powers as he's seeing things like the Matrix coding, but he's not sure why he's seeing them, even going to a shrink played by Neil Patrick Harris to see what's going on. Trinity is alive in the Matrix as well, but when she meets Neo, she doesn't recognize him at first. The rest of the trailer goes into pick scenes both old and new, including the young Morpheus recruiting Neo, sparring with him in a program, the team fighting agents, and more. There's not a lot of clues or context as to what is going on, but many think that the Matrix has become more of a prison than ever, and that Neo somehow brought him and Trinity back in the program so that they could both go and live again. Or that the machines put them in the Matrix for reasons unknown. There is a lot of questions here, as you can see, but that just means it'll be all the more interesting when the movie comes out in December. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the Matrix Resurrections and how everything is going to likely play out based on what we know? Do you think that this fourth film will honestly be able to do what the last two Matrix films could not? Do you hope that this movie will be like the first and yet be its own thing? What are your honest expectations for it? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on the channel.